This is part 2 of a series of videos about the International 8-Ball Pool Rules. I just want to start this video just by correcting something that I got wrong in part 1. I've actually cut that from the video now so you can't see it to avoid any confusion. It was just in regards to what happens when the black ball is potted off the break. Now, if the black ball goes down, that counts as one of your points. That's perfectly fine, and the black ball is then respotted. I got that bit right, obviously, but what I got wrong was what happens if the black ball spot is already covered by another ball. So the rules say that the black ball needs to go between the black ball spot and the center of the top cushion. Now, I just always referred to this as the top cushion and that as the bottom cushion. It seems natural to me that this is the top of the table and we play down towards the bottom. But I've got that the wrong way round. It's fairly obvious if you think about it that the ball should actually go between these. This is the top cushion, but along this line between these spaces here. So it should go as close to the black spot as it can along that line. If all of that area is covered by other balls and it's not able to go in there, then it would go this side. So that's just me misinterpreting what they're referring to as the top cushion. Personally, I think to call them top and bottom is a little bit ambiguous anyway. It might be better if they were called the bulk end cushion or something like that. But anyway, that's another matter. Something else that somebody asked in the comments that I just wanted to clarify as well is they asked what happens if the black ball is the only ball that's potted on the break. So if you got your 3 points, the black ball is the only ball that went down. It's a legal break, but play would still pass to your opponent because you have to pot either a red or a yellow to continue. That can be in conjunction with the black ball. So if you pot a yellow ball and the black ball, then you would carry on and the black ball would be respotted. But if the black ball is the only ball that's potted, then play passes to your opponent. So the focus of this video is to look at fouls and the way that they work in international 8-ball pool rules. Now, I'm coming from a World Rules background. That's the set that I play usually. So I'm going to look at how fouls differ between these rule sets. Now, I'm not going to run through every type of foul because there's loads of them and it'll be a bit boring to watch. Most of them are the same and fairly obvious. I'm going to talk more about how they work and how you're penalised in the game. So, for example, if you played a shot where you were rolling a ball towards a pocket and you didn't quite play it hard enough and neither the object ball or the cue ball didn't hit a cushion, and you didn't pot a ball, then that's a foul in both rule sets. In World Rules, you would play the ball from where it landed as long as it wasn't left in a foul snooker, and you would have 2 visits. If you went in off or you followed a ball in, so say you played a shot and you played it with topspin accidentally, and the white ball followed the ball into the pocket, then in World Rules you would have ball in hand behind the bulk line, so you could place it wherever you wanted, and you would have 2 visits again. So the main difference in international 8-ball pool rules is that 2 visits don't exist. You don't have 2 visits. What you have instead in both of those situations is ball in hand anywhere on the table. So the ref would hand you the ball and then you can place it wherever you like on that table. But you only have 1 visit. There are no 2 visits, as I just said. So you might just think, okay, right, let's put the ball down, let's pull, and there's a nice easy shot and we'll play that. Now you can do that, but the important thing when you've got ball in hand is to use it wisely and to your advantage. So rather than just placing it on the easiest pot you can find, you need to sort of have a look around and work out how to use the positioning of that to your advantage. So you might look at the table and think, if say you were on yellows, you might think, this yellow here is a little bit tricky to get to here. I could place the white ball over this side and give me a pot. So you might think about placing it there on a ball that's hard to get to. That would be one way of using your ball in hand. Or you might have a ball like this ball over here, which even if I place the white ball, I can't place the cue ball anywhere that means I can pot it directly. So what I could do instead is I could place it on an easy pot, but give myself an angle to develop that ball. So on my first shot, I could pot that and develop that ball, moving it out of that difficult position. So it's important when you have that ball in hand that you really think about where you place it. Don't just put it on the table and play an easy shot. Use that to your advantage. Something else that's different is the way Total Snookers work. So say for example, I was on the yellows and I was left in this situation. Now in World Rules, you're allowed to call that as a total snooker. I'm totally snookered. I can't hit any side of any of the yellow balls. That means that if I announce to the ref that it is a total snooker and he agrees, that means that I can then play this shot and try and make contact with the yellow without hitting a cushion afterwards. So I could try to just come off this cushion here, make contact with the yellow. Nothing's hit a cushion afterwards, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. That's okay because it was a total snooker. Now, in international rules, there is no such thing as a total snooker. So that means that if I'm in that same situation, I need to still hit a cushion afterwards with either the object ball or the cue ball. Now that completely changes the way a snooker works, and I think that's quite a big difference, because I think that makes the snooker more powerful in that rule set, because they've got to do a lot more to get out of it. They can't just roll up behind something. So they've got to hit that shot with a lot more power, which means they're far less in control of where things are ending up. Okay, I've got out of the snooker, but I've left a red ball on. So it makes it a lot tougher when you're in a snooker to get out of having to know that you've got to hit a cushion afterwards. So that's quite a big difference. Something else in that same sort of situation is that what you'd often see in World Rules is, say you were in this situation here, what someone might do in World Rules is play a deliberate foul and just roll up behind. So if they just rolled up behind this red here, then, and if they got it nice and tight like that as well, that's a deliberate foul in World Rules, but it's allowed, and it would mean 2 visits to your opponent. But their first shot, they've got nothing. They can't do anything because they're so close to this ball. So their first shot has to be just sort of getting away and hitting cushion. And they've wasted their first shot straight away. Now, in international 8-ball pool rules, the deliberate foul is a loss of frame. You're not allowed to play it at all. So you can't do that. And that changes things again. You can't deliberately just pot one of your opponent's balls directly. You can't deliberately play the black first. So a deliberate foul is a loss of frame. So that completely changes the way the game goes. Makes it a little bit more attacking, more aggressive as well, which is, I think, is a good thing. So you need to bear that in mind. You can't do that at all. Like I said, there are lots of other fouls. I'm not going to run through all of them. Most of them are pretty much the same, so I'm not going to go into those in detail, but it's important. Those 3 things that I've pointed out there are the main differences in the way that fouls work. I will cover, in the next video, I will cover combination shots, and I'll also cover what happens on the black. Hopefully that's covered everything that you really need to know about the way that the fouls work. Remember that when you've got ball in hand, you need to place it somewhere that's to your advantage and make the most of that. That's the most important thing to remember from the way that they work in this rule set. If you've got any questions, again, ask in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. Anything that you think I haven't covered, and then we'll look at those final bits in the 3rd video. If you want to see more practice routines and pool tutorials, then please remember to subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I use in this video, then there are links in the description below.